Hello, people of YouTube. Welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Pokemon Sapphire with yours truly, Mudkip Rocket Chip 3003, and again,
Metallic Toad.
Yes, he is back for another episode, and today we are going to be talking about balance issues. More specifically, just the subjective part of it than the objective part, where you just say like, oh, well, the actual gameplay. No, this is going to be more focused on the players, because as we see here, we are battling against a Wingull. And as some of you Pokemon veterans might know, Wingull knows an attack known as Supersonic. For those of you that don't know what that does, it confuses your Pokemon and it gives them a somewhat high rate of chance of having them hurt themselves by accident when they try to perform an attack. And that's what the animation looks like right there. Yeah. So a lot of people like to complain about different balance issues and like, oh, this move is so cheap because like whatever. Obviously one of the most infamous moves for getting complained about is Sand Attack, because they're just like, oh, get Sand Attacked once, now you can't attack ever again. And, well, I mean, moves are in there for a purpose, because like you gotta have some moves that are, well, unfortunately there's some moves that are just unfun to play against, but it's not really so much an issue of balance, it's just that, like, you know, you have to have something in there that'll not make it, like, a completely, like, flawless strategy to, like, mess up people so that you can have a chance to battle. And it kind of makes sense because, you know, like, just like in real life, different animals have different defense mechanisms, and if it just so happens that kicking dirt in your face is one of their defense mechanisms, then bro, deal with it.
Yeah, and that kind of brings up another interesting thing. That'd be cool if, like, they actually had footage of, like, seeing animals, like, do some of those things, like, trying to kick sand and others, like, do some, like, other attacks that actually look like Pokemon moves.
Yeah.
Just to make it a little bit more realistic, because, like, I don't think I would ever see anything like a sand attack where it just, like, I don't know, because I haven't seen anything where, you know, they would kick sand in their dirt and then, like, they couldn't see. It just doesn't really make sense to me, like, how they would actually reenact that in real life, or I guess it kind of goes along with other moves too.
Yeah. One thing that I can think of that, well, it obviously it might be kind of a stretch, but one thing that I do remember is, like, how zebras have their, like, stripe pattern. It's very confusing for, like, some the lines to look at, and so it's kind of disorienting. So maybe you could say that's a little bit like Double Team, because you see, like, black and white, and it's just like, oh crap, what's going on? And that's, like, one thing. I guess another thing would be kind of like where, well, obviously, well, this is not so much on the topic of moves, but more like types. Obviously there's, like, different, like, logical reasons for why type effectiveness works. Like, it just makes sense that water is super effective against fire, but obviously the logic behind something like fighting being not very effective against flying, you might think, well, have you ever tried to punch a bird? I mean, it's kind of hard because they're already trying to fly away, so the impact of your punch would be, like, severely reduced.
Yeah, and another thing is, I really doubt that Pokemon would be anything close to real life, because it's not meant to be realistic anyway. It's a video game, and, you know, it's supposed to have, like, some fantasy. Pretty much no realism at all. Unless you count, like, the water and the fire and all that.
Yeah, for crying out loud, Macargo's skin is hotter than the sun. It, like, cause, like, the surface of the sun is, like, thousands of degrees hot, like, in Kelvin, obviously, but then Macargo's is, like, 3 times that or something. I don't remember, 5 times. I don't remember what, like, the actual degrees it says are, but, like, you know, just the fact that they say that, like, its skin is hotter than the sun, it kind of starts to make more sense when you realize that the Pokédex entries are probably written by, well, a 10-year-old, like, the game is about the 10-year-old trying to fill up the Pokédex.
Yeah, somehow after so many years, they're still 10 years old.
Yeah.
That just adds to the fact that, obviously, Pokemon is not meant to be a realistic game. I mean, I don't know, like, don't you wish sometimes you could just be a kid forever? forever and like not have to worry about like like real life and having like a ton of responsibilities. And
Definitely.
it's like Ash, you don't realize how lucky you are.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there are definitely benefits to like being an adult. You get to drive around. You don't have to listen. You don't have to always listen to your parents, and you kind of have your own freedom. But it just just like in a kid's mind, it's like you want to be a kid forever. I guess you can't be a kid forever, within the Pokemon universe, and they don't seem to ever grow up because obviously I haven't been watching the Pokemon cartoon, but Ash is still basically the same as he was in the very first episode. I think.
Pretty much.
As I know.
Yeah, he's pretty much.
Yeah, so it's like they're never gonna. He's like never gonna age a day.
Yeah.
They could have at least like maybe had him a little bit older and maybe like have a different voice like for a voice that had like sounded older, but nope, nothing.
Yeah.
But actually, I don't know. Do you think they actually had any new voices for him?
They have had several new voices for him. Some are a little bit higher, some are a little bit lower.
Oh.
The one that they're on right now, unfortunately, I don't know the name of the voice actor right now, but this new voice actor seems to emphasize a little bit more of the depth in tone of voice. So I guess that much it's kind of okay, but yeah, it's definitely not the same as before.
Yeah. What I think is ridiculous is when they have new voice actors for like a kid or something, but then they change it from like a voice that might be like deeper to a voice that is like a lot higher and more of a kid. It's like, why would you do that? It's like, why? It's like it's almost like they're trying to have like the reverse aging effect or something. I don't get that at all.
One example of this is the difference between Pit in Super Smash Bros. Brawl and in the new Super Smash Bros. For 3DS and Wii U.
Yes, that actually is a pretty good example, but of course, a lot of that comes from the fact that Pit got a new game for 3DS a few years back, and it's pretty recent, and I guess they stuck with that voice actor since he was a part of a game, and Pit never had a voice in his other games, which I think he only had 2 other games.
Yeah.
Like he had the NES one. I think he had a GBA game.
Yeah, he might have or something. But anyways, yeah. So, yeah, that's right. So this whole tangent stemming from the topic of people just complaining about random crap that doesn't even make sense, and they're like, oh, well, it's overpowered. Well, going back to the original message, it's not overpowered because there's a strategy to beat everything. Getting hammered by sand attack, bro, do you even Swift? I'm officially declaring that joke not dead. I'm sorry, guys. Anyways, so yeah. So that was pretty much it for that. But on the topic of new games, we have a new game that Metallic Toad has been pretty excited about. I'm pretty sure he's dying to talk about it here.
Yes. E3, okay, I will say pretty much everything at E3 this year, except for some of the new Smash Bros. Announcements and everything, has been kind of dull. But okay, like Yoshi's Woolly World was one of those other games that were just like, okay, that's pretty cool. They're like announcing more information for that and stuff. But what really fascinated me is there's gonna be a new Toad game, and I'm pretty sure everyone knows about it and all that stuff. But I can't believe Toad is gonna get his own game for the Wii U, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, and from the two trailers that they've had for that game, I'm pretty excited for it. I just think it's really awesome that Toad finally gets his own adventure, and Mario, Luigi, none of those other characters are involved, and even Toadette gets to join in on the fun. And I know it kind of goes back to the gameplay style that was used in the Captain Toad levels for Super Mario 3D World, which I think that was another pretty awesome game. But I did like the levels that they had, and even though they were kind of short and sweet, I know in this game there's gonna be a lot more depth, and it's just gonna be like a full game and a full adventure, and hopefully the story hopefully the story won't be too bad. And I mean, I know that people don't play Mario games for the story. Am I right? Yeah, because I mean, who wants to save the same princess 100 times? But anyways, from all the gameplay I've seen and all the levels and all that stuff, it looks like a pretty awesome game. And I like how they introduced some of the Super Mario Bros. 2 elements back, where you get to like throw turnips and
yeah, that was
there's
pretty
like
nice touch.
there's Shy Guys. And, there's like all that stuff, and you can like pick up plants from the ground, get like coins and stuff. And, oh yeah, they also brought back the double cherry, which is kind of interesting. And it's definitely Super Mario 3D World like as far as like graphics. And, so I think some of the music is similar too, but it still looks like a pretty awesome game. And along with Smash Bros 4. Those are the two games I'm really looking forward to that are coming out later this year, and yeah, I just think it's really awesome. He has his own game finally, and who knows? Maybe this will mean that Nintendo might give other not as prominent characters a starring role. I mean, they did for Peach at one point, Super Princess Peach, which I thought that game was pretty good too. But that was a while ago. Yeah. Anyways, I just think it's really awesome that Toad has his own game now. And it just wins.
Maybe someday Waluigi will get his own game finally.
Yeah,
I
think he's been in only spin-offs.
Yeah.
He's only been in Mario Party, Mario Sports, Mario Kart, just all that stuff. And I guess Smash Bros, but not really as a character, which I kind of understand because it might be kind of hard to put together a moveset for him. I mean, there might be a couple moves, like, with the assist trophy, they have, like, the tennis racket and all that stuff, but overall, it would be kind of tough to give him a unique moveset.
Yeah, they'd have to give him, like, his own game first to give him a moveset. That way people could have, like, recognizable elements and be like, oh, this move, it's kind of like this one thing that he does in the game.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they'd obviously need to do that first.
Oh, yeah, and lastly, that'd be pretty cool if Toad got to be in Smash Bros. Because now he has his own game, and there's a few moves that you could put together for him to make him unique, and you can even get some other moves for him to borrow from other games like New Super Mario Bros. Wii, where other games he's playable. So I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah.
But anyways.
Yeah. So it looks like, unfortunately, we're just about going to be out of time for today. So we'll have to see you guys in the next episode. Thanks for watching, comment, rate, and subscribe. And take care, everyone.
Yeah, see you later.
Goodbye.